Have you ever noticed how many people seem to be doing everything right, and yet years later, their financial position hasn't really changed? They earn more than they used to. They've moved up in their careers. Their lifestyle looks stable, even comfortable. But their wealth hasn't compounded. It hasn't snowballed. It hasn't accelerated. It hasn't quietly multiplied in the background. Instead, it's just keeping pace with life. Not falling behind, but never pulling ahead either. And this isn't because the middle class is lazy, or financially irresponsible, or unaware. In fact, most middle-income professionals are thoughtful, disciplined, and hardworking. So why doesn't their wealth compound the way finance textbooks suggest it should? To understand that, we need to start with a very ordinary story. A relatable scenario. Consider Daniel. He's 32, works in marketing, and lives in Manchester. His salary is £52,000 per year. On paper, that sounds solid, comfortably middle class, financially respectable. After taxes, national insurance, and pension deductions, his take-home pay lands around £3,100 per month. Nothing extraordinary, but stable. Now, let's look at how that income actually moves through his life. His rent for a modest one-bedroom flat is £1,050. Council tax and utilities add another £320. His car payment is £280. Insurance and fuel bring that closer to £450. He's still paying off a student loan, about £190 per month. Groceries run roughly £350. Phone, internet, subscriptions, and gym add another £160. Before he's saved a single pound, Daniel is already committed around £2,520 each month. That leaves him with roughly £580. From that, he tries to save something. He goes out with friends occasionally. He puts aside money for holidays. Unexpected costs always show up. At the end of the month, maybe £150 remains, sometimes less. This isn't a story about struggle. Daniel isn't broke. He isn't drowning in debt. He's functioning exactly as modern middle-class life expects him to. And yet, his wealth isn't compounding. It's just existing. This pattern isn't unique to the UK. Replace Manchester with Chicago, Amsterdam, Dublin, or Berlin, and the numbers shift slightly, but the structure stays the same. Income arrives, expenses absorb it, savings gets what's left, and compounding never really gets a chance to begin. The hidden system flaw. The quiet reason middle-class wealth rarely compounds isn't a lack of income. It's the order in which money gets assigned. Most people treat compounding as something that happens after life is paid for. But compounding only works when it happens before life expands to fill income. Modern life, however, is structured in the opposite direction. Housing costs rise with income. Transportation expectations increase. Social environments subtly adjust spending norms. Your salary grows and your lifestyle follows. Not dramatically, not recklessly, but steadily. And steady lifestyle growth quietly absorbs the space where compounding should live. Simple math. Let's run two simple scenarios. Imagine two professionals, each earning $70,000 per year after a few years in their careers. After taxes, they each take home roughly $4,400 per month. Person A saves $800 monthly and spends the rest. Person B saves $200 and lets lifestyle absorb the difference. Neither person feels irresponsible. Neither is living extravagantly. But over 10 years, the difference becomes enormous. Person A, investing $800 monthly with modest growth, accumulates around $140,000. Person B, investing $200 monthly, accumulates closer to $35,000. The income was identical. The work ethic was identical. The opportunity to compound was identical. Only one variable changed: how much of income was allowed to become fixed lifestyle. Compounding doesn't fail dramatically. It fails quietly, through small, reasonable upgrades that feel harmless at the time. The psychology. Why does this happen so consistently? Because humans don't experience money in spreadsheets. We experience it emotionally. When income rises, our brain interprets it as progress, and progress demands visible confirmation. A slightly better apartment signals adulthood. A reliable car signals responsibility. Occasional travel signals balance. Convenience purchases signal success. None of these decisions are irrational individually. In fact, they often feel like rewards for hard work. But the brain prioritizes present comfort over future compounding because future compounding is invisible. You can see your upgraded home, you can feel your new mattress, you can enjoy your holiday, but you can't feel compound interest working quietly in the background. So lifestyle wins the emotional battle, and compounding quietly loses the financial one. Long-term impact. If this pattern continues for 20 years, something subtle happens. Your income rises steadily. Your spending rises gradually. Your savings grow slowly. But the exponential curve that defines wealth never fully forms. You're stable, you're secure enough, but you're not financially flexible. Your options remain tied to your employment. Your timeline depends on continued income. Your financial life grows linearly, not exponentially. And linear growth feels fine until life changes. A career shift, a health issue, a relocation, a family transition. Suddenly, the absence of compounding becomes visible, not because you failed, but because compounding never had the chance to dominate your financial structure. Shifting perspective. Financially intelligent people don't approach this differently because they earn more. They approach it differently because they treat compounding as a priority, not a leftover. They assume lifestyle will always try to expand, so they design their finances to protect compounding from that expansion. When their income rises, they don't ask, "What can I afford now?" They ask, "What part of this raise can quietly accelerate my future?" They allow some lifestyle growth because life should improve over time, but they deliberately prevent lifestyle from consuming the entire raise. That one behavioral difference changes everything, because compounding doesn't require perfection. It only requires consistency and time. Another example. Consider Sophia, a project coordinator in Barcelona earning 41,000 euros annually. Each year she receives modest raises, 1,500 euros here, 2,000 euros there. Instead of upgrading apartments or increasing monthly spending automatically, she redirects most of each raise into long-term investments. After 8 years, her lifestyle looks only slightly different from when she started, but her investment portfolio has quietly crossed 90,000 euros. She hasn't felt deprived, she hasn't lived minimally. She simply allowed compounding to grow before lifestyle expanded. From the outside, she looks ordinary. Financially, her trajectory is completely different. The real distinction. Middle-class wealth rarely compounds not because people misunderstand finance, but because modern life encourages immediate lifestyle confirmation. The system rewards visible consumption more than invisible accumulation. Social environments reinforce it, housing markets reinforce it, advertising reinforces it, even career progression reinforces it. You earn more, so your life should look better immediately. But compounding doesn't make your life look better immediately, it makes your future more flexible. And flexibility is harder to showcase. So many people unknowingly trade exponential future growth for incremental present comfort. Not foolishly, just naturally. What financially intelligent people do. They treat income growth as temporary, but compounding as structural. They assume raises will come and go, but investments, once built, keep working whether they're actively earning or not. So they protect compounding first. They don't prevent their lives from improving. They simply slow the pace at which expenses harden into permanent obligations. Because once costs become fixed, compounding gets squeezed out. And once compounding disappears, wealth stops accelerating. The quiet truth. The quiet reason middle-class wealth rarely compounds isn't income level, It's the invisible competition between lifestyle growth and time. Lifestyle grows immediately, compounding grows slowly, and most people, understandably, respond to what grows immediately. But the few who allow compounding to grow first experience something different. After a decade, their financial life starts changing on its own. Not dramatically, not suddenly, but steadily. And steady financial momentum is what eventually creates true security. Conclusion. So if your income has risen over the years, but your wealth hasn't compounded the way you expected, it doesn't mean you've made bad choices. It simply means your financial structure has followed the same pattern most of modern society follows. Compounding wasn't prioritized early enough for it to dominate later. But understanding that changes how you see every raise, every expense, and every financial decision going forward. Because wealth rarely compounds by accident, it compounds when time is given space to work. If this perspective helped you think about your finances a little more clearly, consider subscribing for more calm, realistic conversations about money and long-term thinking.